get the mic this time. So we've been learning about the importance of having a mentor, being a mentee, all those things, what it does for the individual, the organization. We've learned those things. So I'm going to take a little sidetrack to that, but it'll wrap back around. So we're talking about mentoring. And now if we think about professional development, how do those two link? Why is it important to have a mentor when we think about professional development? So how many airmen enlisted side want to be chief in this room? Raise your hand. Wow, much like the first group, I'm really surprised of that number of people. So tell me, is it that you think you can't make it to chief? Is that it? Okay, same thing. Who would like to be an 06 on the officer side? Okay. Okay, they're a little more anxious about being there. So the reason I bring that up is, and I'm going to tell my story. A lot of you know me, so you've already heard my story, and I'm going to continue to tell it and tell it and tell it because I think it adds value. And a lot of you I know personally and know where I started. So 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago, I was a tech sergeant in the engine shop. And so, much like you, I didn't think I could make it to chief. That was never in my sights. I was just doing my job just like everybody else. Didn't know where I was going to go. I was basically there. I was here, just not knowing what I was going to end up doing. So again, 9.5 years ago, I started thinking, what am I going to end up doing? You know, what am I going to do after I retire? What direction? Am I going to be a supervisor? What am I going to do? So once I started thinking about a plan or what I needed to do, that's what I decided. I need to figure out where I'm going to go. And so that's important as you think about wanting to get a mentor or wanting to be a mentee. You got to figure out where you're going. Like all of you said, you don't want to be chief. Again, I was in your boat 10 years ago until I said, I want to be a supervisor, I want to finish my college degree, I want to do all these things. I didn't need a mentor either. I didn't have a reason to go to somebody and say, how did you become a chief? How did you finish your education? Because I had no plan. So we talk about the reverse mentorship, the senior down to the mentee. I'm going to steal from a tech sergeant 3 years ago that I met, that we were talking about plans and talking about our future and things like that. And he put it to me in very simple terms. He said, Chief, you got to have a plan. And I had a mental plan. I started to figure that out. But he said, you got to have a plan. You got to have a 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year, whatever your plan looks like. Because he said, if you know your end state, you know where you want to go, then he said, close your eyes and then start going backwards. You visualize yourself as a chief or whatever it is, and then you start working that plan backwards and said, okay, to get to chief, I got to do this. And for me, I started thinking I have to be able to be promotable. I have to get those things accomplished so I can move to the next level. I need to get some education and make sure my PME. So once you figure out that end state, you can start backing up and you start to see where you need to be. I recommend if you don't, does anybody have a professional development plan? And some type of plan that says 1 year, I want to be done with these things. 5 years, I want to be done with these things. 10 years, 20 years, I want to be done with these things. How many people have something like that? That's good. First group actually only had like one person raise their hand. And so if you think about that, that's like you want to go somewhere on the East Coast, you jump in your car and just start driving. That's the same thing with our careers. If we don't think about where we want to go, we're just going to drive aimlessly until we hit the ocean. So if we don't have a destination, say I want to go to Chicago, what am I going to do? I'm going to start mapping out my plan. Easiest routes. I know there's detours. I'm going to pull up GPS. I'm going to pull up weather because you're trying to figure out how to get there. That's the same thing with your careers. That's when a mentor can help you. Because now I've identified, and that's what happened with me. 7 years ago, I was going to retire as a master sergeant. I thought that was great. Went to a chief, a brief conversation, 10-minute conversation. I said, Chief, I'm going to retire. I'll see you later. He said, don't do that. Go think about being a first sergeant. That never hit my radar. Say, go think about it. 7 years later, I'm a chief, I'm a first sergeant, I'm a doctor, I'm a college professor, I'm an author, and I'm a business owner. None of that would have happened if I had not developed some kind of plan. So once I realized where I wanted to go, again, then I can go up and ask. And I asked my mentor, when I was here full-time as a technician, do you think I'll get here? Do you think I'll make chief? He honestly said, I don't think you will. So he gave me the hard, honest answer. And so I left. And now I'm a chief today. So again, when we think about mentoring, you gotta first think about where you wanna go, where you wanna end up. Like I say, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So based on my mentee's mentor suggestion, I do have a written 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan. I didn't reach out 20. I hope to get to that point, but I'm safe with 10, I think. Because the thing is, you keep changing it. You keep changing it to get to where you need to go. So I looked at mine just last week, my 1 year plan. And I started looking, I said, I want to publish this book. What do I need to do? I reached back to my civilian mentor. And I said, I'm thinking about publishing a book. What should I do? Send it to me. I'll send it to my editing group. We'll send it back to you. You publish it. Just that easy. She gave me some direction in a 15-minute Skype conversation because she's in Greece. That's how simple it is. So in about a month, I'm going to publish my book. Then I'm going to publish another book. And I'm going to continue to do those type of things. So that's all of you in this audience. Same power. So what we're doing with this mentoring program is letting all of you know that every one of you enlisted members can be a chief. Every one of you officers have the ability to be an 06. That is what the mentoring program is here for, to let everybody know there's help out there. So please take advantage of this. So, that's all I have. I'll turn it back over to Chief Miller.